I hope that you're okay.
All right, that's a very lovely song from Zamora. He called that one Better They Come.
Life for you just alive. Yeah. Plenty work and no pay. Oh no. It never happened, it no mean say it's so.
Just sit back, relax, cause better they come.
And all this call on Jehovah. Judas everywhere, they know they loyal. Keep your hopes and nice stand.
Are you passing through hardship? Better they come. Oh. All right, that's a very lovely song from Zamora. He called that one Better They Come. Better they come to Nigeria. Better they come to everything you're doing to succeed. Everything you're doing to put food on the table. Just know, say better they come. All right, that's our own English. Yeah, pidgin English. All right. All right, this is how I welcome you on We Time. We're taking it this morning, this beautiful Saturday morning. How you doing? Hope you're having a very wonderful weekend. Yes, this weekend actually promises to be a very lovely weekend. Just make sure you make the most of it. Yeah, a whole lot of people don't know how to make use of their weekend. But let me teach you how. Make sure you avoid all the frivolous talks, all the frivolous meetings. Make sure you grab hold on that rest, that most desired rest that your soul really need to reboot, and then go about your next week. All right? Yeah, you can actually perform optimally if you don't get the desired rest. That's the fact. All right? Have you ever used a computer before? If you overwork it, it will overheat, and then it will not give you your desired result. Yeah, human beings and human brains actually functions like computer. All right, so you need to reboot. You need to have some rest. You need to have to, divide some time for that rest, that desired rest. Yeah, that's what you need this weekend. So make sure you have it. Have a good food, yeah, and good rest. So you can be able to face your new week coming through. All right, my name is Kene Ezepwe. This is how I welcome you on We Time. We take Kene Ezepwe this morning. Yeah, right about now. Do you know how is going down? Do you know that Nigeria Bar Association election is coming up? Do you know? Do you know the past president of Nigeria Bar Association? Do you know Mr. Olumide Apata? Do you know him? I know you pretty much. It's everybody that knows him. But this morning, I will be educating you on the NBA election coming up on the July 16th of this month. Yeah, this election is actually very big, very big. Yeah, I've seen the contestants traveling around the whole country and all that, and conversing for votes and all that. So it's not a small time election. So, and it's coming up. The national election is coming up on the July 16th, and we have 53 people vying for this position, right? And I don't know, let the best man wins. But we have a very wonderful personality in the building from the bar that will be discussing pretty much how far they've come, because this is actually the D month. Let me not just say the D day, but this is actually the D month that the election will be taking place. Nigeria Bar Association election will be taking place. And he will be educating us on what we should be expecting, and what the changes might be or might look like, and a whole lot of other things that we will be unraveling this morning. You're welcome. Let's use the singular opportunity to welcome to your to the station, to your airwave, Mr. Barrister Olatunji Atoyebi, MBA Secretary, Gariki, Abuja Branch. You're highly welcome this morning, Mr. Atoyebi. How you doing?
Thank you, Mr. Kene. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. We actually want to talk about this whole election thing, and we want you to educate us on some of the things that we don't know, And now you actually like the best person to educate us and my listeners on what we should be expecting. How was the past administration like? The administration, he's winding down. He's actually winding. He's winding down. He's still there. So how was the last? How was his administration? What was it like, Mr. Olumide's Apata, right?
Yes.
Administration. What was it like?
Well, without my sin words, I would say Mr. Akwata's tenure has been awesome. It has been a sweet ride all along, and he has surpassed many expectations because when he came aboard, he had many doubters. He had many persons casting one or two aspersions on his person and capabilities, but he has surely proved everyone wrong. And for those of us that kept faith in him, he's made us proud. Yeah, and he has thrown his weight, and the association also has thrown his weight behind him, and we can only go forward from here. His tenure has been wonderful, so wonderful. He has provided for the welfare of lawyers. He has given the association a voice. He's always there. The tenure has always been present.
Okay.
Present, yeah.
Now, before he assumed office, when he was contesting, a whole lot of old side talks, like what is he bringing to the table? What is he going to do different from the past? Because he wasn't even a senior advocate of Nigeria, So people were like, what is he going to do different?
Yeah. So when he was coming up, he contested with two other candidates who were senior advocates of Nigeria. He was not a senior advocate of Nigeria. And in a long time, I won't say he's the first, but in a long time, he's the first non-SCN to become the president of Nigerian Bar Association. So a lot of persons said, no, he's not going to get it, he's not qualified, he can't boss over the senior advocates and all that. And he has showed it. He worked with them, he worked with everyone, he carried everyone along. Be it a SAN, be it a non-SAN, he worked with everyone. And so what happened in the election was that the younger lawyers rallied around him. Yeah. Okay. So the younger lawyers voted for him, though older lawyers voted as well, but massively the younger lawyers.
Was there any difference whatsoever between his administration as not being SAN and the previous one that we've experienced?
Well,
the ones that were SAN?
Well, the difference is the his results shows for it.
Oh.
In a long time, I think his tenure, if I would say, is probably been one of the best in a very long time. So his result has showed for it.
Now, we want to discuss about the election proper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does he have an anointed candidate? Kind of. Nigeria, this whole thing about election, anointed candidates always plays out. In Nigeria, even the presidency, no matter how you look at it, there will still be somebody that the president is supporting.
Okay, so let me say that I can't speak for him because I don't know his mind.
Okay.
But the way MB election works is there are no political parties. So what can you usually have is individual contestants and participants, but you can have your own caucus, so to say. You can have your own group. Yeah, so within the NBA, we have subgroups. For example, we have Arewa lawyers, we have the Eastern Bar Forum, we have the Egbe Amufi, that's from the Yoruba, and then we have the Middle West. Yeah, but so you can come from a particular group can endorse you across divide. Doesn't even mean from your own geopolitical zone, but you can be endorsed by anybody. But for the president, I would, like you said, even the president may have, but you don't show it in the Nigeria Bar Association. If you do, you don't show it. You don't have an anointed candidate. In your own mind, you may have, I don't know, but like you said, anybody may have, but you won't show it, so nobody will know.
Okay.
So it gives everyone the equal
level playing ground.
Yeah.
Okay, now don't forget that we are still speaking with Barrister Olatunji Atoyebi. He's a secretary, Gariki, MBA secretary, Gariki Abuja branch. Don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling us on our hotline 081 822 22205. If you're a lawyer, yeah, you can as well be part of the show. All right, we want to talk about the 53 candidates vying for this position, number one position in the bar. How did you guys arrive at that?
Okay, so funny enough, I've never even counted them that they are 53. So, but I know that for the presidency, I think we have about 3 contestants. For the Secretary General, we have about 3 or 4, then cascaded down like that. So the way it goes is each position has a number of years for requirements for your post call. Post call is the number of years you've been called to the Nigerian bar. So, for example, the president, if I'm correct, is 15 years. It must not be less than 15 years post call, while the Secretary General is, or the General Secretary is 10 years. So we have the first vice president, we have the second vice president, we have the third vice president. I think so. Each of them have their own requirements. That you must be a member of National Executive Committee for not less than 2 years and counting. So once you meet those requirements, that's on one side. Then to vote and be voted for in NBA elections, you must be paying your practicing fees annually and your branch dues annually, and you must pay them on or before the 31st day of March of each year. So we're in 2022 year. If you paid on the 1st of April, you've paid, but you are not qualified to vote and you are not qualified to run for an election. So you must pay in between January and March 31st if you want to vote and if you want to be voted for. So if you meet all this, that makes you a financial member. So if you're a financial member and then you meet the requirements, you must also be in private legal practice. So if you are you must be in a private legal practice, and then you meet all these requirements, so you can pick up a form. So for presidency, it's usually zoned. So presently now it's at the turn of the north, and then the MB election is usually for 2 years. So the next 2 years is going to the east, because President Akwata is from the west, so it's going to the east. So presently now it's going to the north. So if you are from the north, you have nothing.
How many people are vying from the north now? So if you're from the north, other zones, other sections of the country won't join?
No, they can vote, but they can't vie for presidency because it's the turn of the north.
Okay, so how many people are vying from?
Presently, there are 3: Mr. Yakubu Chonoko Michael SAN, Mr. JK Gazama SAN, and Mr. Jonathan Taidi. Those 3 are vying for presidency, and they are all from the north.
Okay.
I think one Mr. I'm not sure of their state of origin, but I can make an attempt.
It's all right.
I think Mr. Michael Sen is from Kebbi. Mr. JK Gazama should be from Adamawa, while Mr. Taidi should be from Niger. I'm not sure, but I think he's from Niger.
So the whole screening have been carried out.
Yes. So when you pick a form, you submit. There will be a window to pick up the form. There will be a window for deadline for you to submit the form. Then what the MBA does is, ahead of the forms, they set up a committee. Presently, it's a 5-man committee. It's called ECMBA, Electoral Committee Nigerian Bar Association. So they are the ones that will conduct the elections. Everything that has to do with the elections is the committee. So they will give a guideline on how the election will run. So as it's right now, they've cleared all the candidates. They've cleared them, because it's not everyone who picks up the form that gets cleared. So there are some persons that may pick up the form, and if 1 or 2 of your documentations has issues, you won't be cleared. So there will be a timeline for results of cleared candidates. If you feel you are wrongly disqualified, you can appeal. Then there's another panel that will sit on the appeal. So if they feel your appeal has merit, they will clear you. But if they feel your appeal does not have merit, you still be disqualified. Then that means you can't run. Then there's also a time they will lift off campaign. They lift off the flag for campaign. So that's when you can easily come out and say, okay, I'm running for this position. I'm vying for this position. Vote for me, support me. And then you go ahead with your manifestos and you make it known for the lawyers. So at the moment, they've cleared all the contestants. These three running for the position of presidency have been cleared and they are ready to go to the polls.
Okay, now we want to talk about the expectations from those three candidates. Now, what are these things? What are these things that is in the minds of lawyers that you feel like these people will bring to the table? Or maybe when it's time, because actually it's already time.
Yeah, it's already time. We have less than 2 weeks ago, so the 2 weeks to go.
2 weeks to go.
Yeah,
it's already time. So I feel like we should be, hearing some of their manifestos and all that, and how to improve the bar. What are those things that you feel like they can improve on?
Sure. So basically,
as a member of the bar.
So as a member of the bar, the first thing that comes foremost to members of the bar is one, the motto of the Nigerian Bar Association, which is promoting the rule of law. So first things first, you must stand for that. And then secondly, this also goes alongside, line in line with promoting, which is the welfare of lawyers, Nigerian lawyers. So what are you bringing to the table? What do you want to do? How do you protect the interest of lawyers to avoid being carrying out their duties? How do you speak for them? Because as a number one man in the profession in Nigeria, you have interface where other lawyers can go to at the moment, but you speak for them. So what are you bringing to the table for them? What can you assure them? How are you promoting their welfare? So there is also the thing in the profession for younger lawyers. What's the interest you have for younger lawyers? So for younger lawyers that's called to the Nigerian bar today, does not know east or left from right. So you spent an average of 6 years in Nigerian university, but when you are being called to the bar, that's when your life begins. It's different entirely from what you pass through in the university. So how do you help them to find their feet? And so there's also this issue of benefits, emoluments, salaries when they work for senior lawyers. So most particularly, younger lawyers are interested and keenly interested in what do you have for me? So what does your manifesto have from them? So then also for senior lawyers too, how do you carry us along? How do we make this association better? So these three candidates, these are what they should be looking into and what they should be looking to propose on the table. I know that Mr. YC Michael SN is presently the chairman of the MBA Welfare Committee, and under his committee, under the presidency of Mr. Olumide Apata, they launched Lawyers Health Insurance Scheme in partnership with the national NHIS, where lawyers can access the NHIS, and this is the first time in the history of the association.
It has happened.
Yeah, it has happened.
Wow.
On the national scope, although we have that in MBA Abuja, but it is the first time nationally that it's happening. So that's that. Then Mr. JK Gazama SN has also been an all-round active player and participant in the association over time, and then while Mr. Tidy is the former general secretary, in the past administration, the one preceding
this administration.
That's under Mr. Paul Lusoro SN administration.
Okay.
So I think the three of them, to a reasonable extent, they are experienced, they are active players, but beyond all that, what lawyers are interested in is your capability to deliver. It's a different thing when you're head of a committee, it's a different thing where you are the general secretary, but now as number one man, what can you do? So many people are looking forward to that and what you look to bring to the table.
Okay, now let's look at the credibility of this election. Is it going to be free and fair? What tools and what moves are you people making to make sure that this election coming up on the July 16th is free and is fair and credible?
Okay, let me quickly give a narrative behind MBA elections. In previous years, even before I was called, what happened is so there are about 125 branches or maybe 128 branches in Nigeria. So what happened is, I think election is being done in Abuja, then 3 representatives from each branch will come and vote for who they want. So the fate of the association is placed on those three people from each branch. And So then it was polarized and anything can happen. Then in 2016, under the tenure of Mr. Augustine Aligesen, I think they started, that was when we started the online voting and, electronic issues here and there. But over the years, it has become more, it gets better, it gets more credible and free and fair, because during the elections, you can monitor this, you can see it on the screen. Once somebody, we should have a screen, you can monitor it. If I vote, you see whoever I vote for.
Nationwide?
Yes, nationwide, you can see it. Because there's a platform. Okay. When it's time, the ECMBA will announce the platform, so you can monitor it. If you don't want to sleep, you can stay awake all night. If you have an interest for a particular candidate, you can monitor it. And that's when we go on with the campaign. Oh, have you voted? Have you voted? Can you vote? Can you vote? Okay, vote for this person. So it's usually
so credible. How is it done? Is it electronically done?
Yes, it's simply electronically. And now what happens now is every lawyer, once you are qualified, once you meet the financial requirements, you pay your dues before March 31st, you are entitled to vote. So now it's one man, one vote, and then everybody collectively decides the fate of the association. So what happens is, I think on June 26th, what ECMBA did, so they engage ICT consultants, they engage a technical advisor, the technical partner, who will ensure that the platform is the user, it has a friendly user interface, it's seamless. And so what they did first was verification. So there is a data, your phone number, your email as a legal practitioner. So you will verify your data. They will compile a list, voters list. So first, you will confirm that your name is on that list. Once your name is not on that list and you are sure you paid, you reach out to your branch or you reach out to the help desk. They will compile your name, then move forward to verification. That verification process is for you to verify. Once you click verify, you will get there is an OTP that will be sent to your mail or your SMS. So once you click that, you will get an automated response. That's to confirm that you do not have DND on your...
What's DND?
DND is do not disturb, as you can receive a third-party message. That's from them. So that means, because during the election, an OTP will be sent to you. So what verification does is to ensure that during the election, main election, you won't have issues receiving the OTP and receiving the link that will be sent out. Because if you do not get the link, you can't vote. So in previous years, sometimes people complain, though I've always voted, I've never had that issue. But one or two cases we hear some person say they never got the link. But what the link does is the link that will enable you to vote. And the link is generic. You can't use my link, I can't use your link. So it's what is sent to me that I will use to vote. And once I vote, I can't vote the second time. So what verification does is to ensure that they can communicate to us.
Okay.
That's what verification does. So if you don't get verified, no issues, but just that it's not certain that you will get the link. There are sometimes that users have DND on their phones that they can't get SMS from third party. So that's what verification does.
So the problem actually came from their own phone, from their own phone.
Yes, from their device. Yeah.
So what awareness are you creating? Are you?
There is always an awareness going around because what happened? Okay, so what happened is most all branches we always have WhatsApp groups, we have Facebook groups, we have Telegram groups where everybody says it. So all these messages, it channels out from the Nigerian Bar Association, it cascaded down to all branches. So at the national level, at the branch levels, we're sure to create this awareness. And you as a candidate or supporters of a particular candidate, you ensure you spread around this message for everyone, across board, so everyone just get verified. So after the verification, I think what they will do next is pre-election, just like a mock election, just to test the process to see that, okay, people can actually vote and see how it goes. So at the end of the day, there is a situation room in the MBA Secretariat where the agents of the candidates will be, where they are also monitoring. So it's seamless and it's free and fair because it's an external technical partner and ICT consultants. They monitor the voting system. And even in previous years, I think voting lasts for 2 days, but this year it's going to be for just 1 day, 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. And I believe
12 a.m. in the morning.
In the morning, yes.
To 12 p.m. in the noon.
No, to 11:59. Full 24 hours.
Oh, full
24 hours. Yes. While in previous years,
why
it used
must
to be
it start in the morning? That late in the morning.
You know, we are reaching out across board to all Nigeria, all lawyers in Nigeria. Most times we don't sleep during the election. We don't sleep most times because everybody, you have the interest of your candidate at heart. So you don't sleep. You get to monitor it. You get to ensure that people have voted. In fact, at times that we create minis workstation for lawyers to come and vote. Probably you had network issues. You can't vote on your device. Just come. If you have your link, we'll create a workstation for you where you can just vote and you go.
Okay, now we'll still be talking more on this subject matter when we return from this musical break. And this musical break is coming from P Square and Dave Scott. They call this one Bring It On. Bring it on, the Nigeria Bar Association election coming up on the 16th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back and we'll still be talking more.
Sweet though, if some people know they hate you, so use the number 6 so and calculate, you go see the ratio. The beef self na me yo, whether na asu, them relate to. So bring your own crayfish show, we go mix so, oh Lord. Oh, share na them talk say, we no go blow. Oh, share them they see us now. We don't glow. Take a look at me now. Take a look at me now. We're running things in this town. Can't you see?
I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall.
And rising, rising, rising. Keep it high, rising, rise.
Bring it on.
This life is not easy. So much hustling and bustling. Everyone is struggling. So make you know they believe it. Since everyone is chasing, you're never gonna make it. Never say no, never give up. Keep your head up, standing tall. And for sure, you go turn it up, turn down for what? Shane and them talk say, we no go blow. Share them they see us now, we don't glow. Take a look at me now, take a look at me now. We're running things in this town. Can't you see?
I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever.
Hello, who is on the line?
My name is
Your name is what?
Felix Liberty. I'm calling you from Abakaliki in the State.
Oh, all the way from Abakaliki in the Ebonyi State?
Yes, what is the topic of your program today, please? Because I'm in Abuja before, but I can't follow people online like that.
Oh, okay. The topic of our program today is NBA election. An NBA election is coming up on July 16th of this month.
Yes. Both in my state here, because we did our own election, the election, state election, the state last week. That just left to give our own, give the election. About what are you talking about? Are you talking about the voters card or about the election?
NBA, you know NBA, Nigeria Bar Association election?
Yes, NBA, okay, NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, like the okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are you still there? Are you still there?
Yes.
You still want to say something?
I don't. You say what I'm about is the NBA, but I don't understand the NBA.
NBA is Nigeria Bar Association.
As I what are they doing? Is it the election or what?
They will be doing their presidential election on the July 16th of this month. All right, no problem. Just keep on listening so that maybe you can grab one or two points before you now call back again.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so very much, my brother.
Okay.
All right. He just joined. He hasn't.
Yeah, he's a follower.
He's a follower of the show.
Yeah.
But he's not within town. All right, Barrister Olatunji Atoyebi, MBA Secretary, Gariki Abuja branch. We're still discussing. I would still want to get your view on the issue of people living with disability in the bar. You know, so elections that you are conducting, that your bar is conducting, are you people considering them? Because I know a whole lot of them have physical constraints. You know, they can move about with like people that have 2 hands and 2 feet. You know, so what considerations are you giving people like this in this forthcoming election?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Ikede. So, like I said earlier, so far they're using mobile phones because this election is all about is an electronic
Election.
So no other way. But so far they have a device, they will be able to vote.
Okay.
So far they have a working device and they paid their dues on or before time. Like I said, close to the election, we usually set up workstations where we tell people, if you can come here, we'll help you and do the voting. So if they come around, we can definitely help them, or we ensure we get them to come around to help them. So we, as much as possible, we carry them along. We carry everyone along.
Are you people considering people living with disability as one of the contestants? Can they contest?
Yeah, they can contest. They can, sure. Nothing stops them from contesting.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes we have them as committee members or panel members. Yeah,
okay.
We have them as committee members.
During the course of the election?
No, as normal. I'm speaking at the branch level now. Okay. In our branch, we have them as committee members. Like when we just did our law week, we have 1 or 2 persons. So we give them leadership roles as well. So everybody's it's all encompassing. Everyone participates.
Okay. Now we want to talk about the issue of vote buying. Will it come to play in this forthcoming election?
Vote buying will not really come to play because one, you are not so like I gave you an history before then. Now when it was just 3 persons per branch, but now it's individual. So it will be difficult for you to say you want to buy my vote. In time past, people may promise, okay, I'll pay your branch dues, I'll pay your practicing fees, I will do this, or I'll take you out, I'll do this, I'll do that. We can do all of that. But when the election time comes, it's me and my phone. I choose what I want. And like I said, you can't use my link and I cannot use your link. So vote buying is at the minimal level because don't let me say it's not possible, but you can't really. You can try and probably spread money around as a contestant. You can do all that, but all that is just to assuage people or just to carry people along. But vote buying is at the minimal.
Do you think that the judiciary is doing enough in the Nigerian democratic terrain currently? Do you feel that the judiciary is respected enough?
Okay, so that's 2 questions. Are they respected enough, and are they doing enough? Well, I think they are trying their best. They are trying their best. There is always room for improvement, but they are trying their best, fighting and speaking. But are they respected enough? I would say no, because when you look at the 3 chairs of government as the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary, they're supposed to be at a par level, But if you look at it in one way or the other, the judiciary is at the bottom of that table. Anyway or the other, in terms of respect, in terms of benefit, in terms of, because they are putting in a lot of work, but what they are getting in return is not commensurate. It's not commensurate at all. The conditions and standing, like what recently happened at the Supreme Court, when the justices, my Lord Justice of the Supreme Court, have to write a letter to the former CJN and who had to resign due to ill health and all that. So that speaks more for it that they are not well respected. But I believe they are trying their best. But they can also do better. But how can they do better is when they are comfortable. When they are comfortable, they can do better. But when they are not comfortable, they can only try as much as they can.
What do you mean by being comfortable?
Being comfortable is standard of living. From that letter that emanated from my Lord Justice of the Supreme Court,
the allegation was that the CJN was actually diverting their welfare.
Yeah.
That was the allegation. 14th Supreme Court judge.
Yeah. So that's even on one end. That's at the Supreme Court. Now imagine what happens downwards at the states, the various states high courts, at the federal high courts, across board. Compare that with state House of Assembly members. Compare that with National Assembly members. Compare that with the senators. They're all supposed to be at the same part. Compare that with state governors.
But these are political positions.
These are political positions, but their benefits, their emoluments are being enacted for. For example, the House of Assembly members, their wardrobe allowances, all those things, they are being enacted. So why can't we have the same thing for judges, for judiciary members, for the judiciary?
So what will this incoming presidents, people vying for this position of number one position in the bar, what would they be doing? What do you want them to encourage them to do to make sure that they ameliorate some of this problems?
So I believe the incoming president should be ready to, first, to promote the rule of law in Nigeria, and two, to ensure the promotion of human rights. You know, you must be ready to speak for people. You must be ready to speak against corruption. You must be able to fight for whatever it is that you can fight. You know, you must not be ready to play along the usual, ball game. At least the next administration should be able to build on what this present administration has done and speak to situations as they arise. You don't have to play I'm looking for a word to use now, but you don't have to play rub shoulders, play the ostrich. You have to speak voice to it. That's what the association stands for. We speak for the people, we speak for ourselves. So the judiciary are in a place where they can't really even speak for themselves. That letter that came out is because the justice cannot speak out, but they can speak it internally. So it's the association that is the mouthpiece of the judiciary, actually. It's the association that is supposed to speak for the judiciary. It's the association that is supposed to speak for the masses. Then the association speaks for its members. So that's what the incoming president should be able to do.
Okay.
The welfare of members, the welfare of judiciary, the welfare of masses, everybody. You must be able to speak voice to it.
Okay. Now let's bring it down to the Federal Capital Territory, which you are actually one of the executives. What are you people doing to make sure that people's human rights are being upheld?
Okay, so we actually have a police duty solicitor scheme in our branch where we provide pro bono services. Pro bono services. We have a relationship with DPOs and the CP, and so we station some of our colleagues across several police stations for indigent persons who are unable to afford a lawyer or issues that just came up and you just need a legal service. So we have on PDSS. I think we are actually big on that, just to ensure that we speak for people. And let me also use a recent example. During the lockdown, when there was curfew and the federal government set up a mobile court across the town, and there are different jurisdictions, I personally, I was also a volunteer providing pro bono services during the COVID, and I had to come out. And so when violators are being when they face the mobile courts, I rendered pro bono legal services. So I think we are big on that on the branch. So we try for indigent persons and across board. Most times there are cases where we've had to intervene severally.
Okay.
Severally.
Okay. Now we want to talk about the issue of we still want to touch a little bit of this not being respected. Lawyers not really being respected, especially by the security agents. You go to court, you go to stations, maybe police stations, you want to go and bail somebody, and you're a lawyer, police, you know, the way they will treat you. You know, what are the bar doing about some of these things?
So, thank you for asking that question, Mr. Kenneth. So I remember that during the course of this present administration, we have several issues across board that came up, and I know that Mr. President rose to the occasion. He challenged those issues. Either he went there personally or he sent a delegate from the bar, and in most occasions he went there personally. So the incoming president, we should be able to work on that. We should even have a symbiotic relationships with these security agencies across the board, whereby once you go in, you speak to yourself, oh, I'm a lawyer, you should be respected. That's the way it should be on a normal day. That's the way it should be on a normal day. You should be respected. Your word should speak for it. And there are times that, you know, you get somewhere and you introduce yourself once or twice. I think I've experienced it as well, and you look like, oh, what are you doing here? Then you're not supposed to come in. But on the other side too, I think our colleagues too, we have a lot of work to do on our part. So, for example, this is your station here, this is your workstation, this is your work environment. I can't come in and cross my leg on the table without your permission. So that's just figuratively speaking. So when you realize that, okay, you are not on your own terrain, you are going to somebody else's terrain, your manner of approach, your manner of approach, your etiquette, don't go in as if it's a war zone. So if you get to meet the IPO or whoever that is working on the case, you kind of create a friendly relationship. Then from there, you take it up from there. But if you come in with the gangsterism, lawyer style, the IPO will look at you, dude, calm down. This is my matter. That's when they tell you.
So
no.
what if you come in a calm way and it's still the same?
Then if you come,
get that,
if you come in a calm way and then you get that, then that is very wrong. That is very wrong and unprofessional, because I've given you the respect that is due to you, and respect should be reciprocal. You should also respect me. And then these are the issues that we expect the incoming president to look into, to touch light and see how we can be respected across the board. We should, because if a policeman comes in and says I'm a policeman, everybody will say, oh, okay. And if I say, oh, I'm a lawyer, we are ministers in the temple of justice. So we should also be accorded that same respect.
Okay. Now, we want to talk about the women inclusion in everything you're doing, in all the electioneering processes. How are women factored into all this?
Thank you again for asking that. So the present General Secretary, the incumbent General Secretary, Mrs. Joyce Odua, is a female. Well, by
national?
Yes, national.
Okay.
And in a long time, not the first, but in a long time, she is the first woman in a long time, in recent time. Just like I said, Mr. Olumide Apatatu is not in a long time. So the past Assistant General Secretary, yeah, Uchenna Wadialo is also national, is also a lady. So across board, I don't let me start mentioning names. Across board, females are being included. They run for elections, they participate, they hold key positions across the board.
Do you feel like a female can win the seat of presidency of the Nigerian Bar Association the way things are now? Do you feel like? You're laughing. Okay,
sincerely speaking, if we have what it takes, lawyers will root for you. If you have the character, you have the attitude, lawyers will root for you. So so what we do is basically we are not gender biased. We are not gender biased. Why I was laughing is just because the rigorous going for the. I was just speaking with someone last night that it's not easy campaigning for the position of the number one seats. Even the number 2, the number 3, the general secretary.
Once it's national.
Once it's national, you have to tour around the country. You have to go around the branches, around all the branches. Not once, not twice.
No stone unturned.
No stone unturned. For presidency, for general secretary, you have to move around. And that means, so let's say, let me use Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. So there's a branch in Abuja, there are branches in Abuja, there's a branch in Buhari, there's a branch in Gwagwalada. Now imagine other states where you have to go into there are some branches, Buhari and Gwagwalada are still urban areas. Now there are some states that the communities are not that, but they have their branches.
Yeah.
You have to go in there as well. So I'm just looking at here, but definitely Mrs. Fulka Adekoya SAN, she contested. So if you're a woman, why not? You can take, if you are sure and you are good to go, why not? Like I said, Mr. Joyce Odua, she ran for it and she was supported and she won.
Okay.
She won it, yeah. So wherever you are coming from, once you have the capabilities and you have what it takes, you have the mindset that you can do it, you can deliver, and you can convince lawyers. Lawyers will root for you.
Okay, now we want to talk about the issue of the election proper.
Okay.
The election proper, when are all the ESCO, the whole election officials going to be in the Federal Capital Territory? Because actually this is where it's taking place, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is expected of them? How would they conduct themselves?
So the way it
and what are your members supposed to do before this election?
So thank you. So what happens is ECMBA relates with lawyers. Like I said, ECMBA relates. So once they channel out the conversation, we pick it up. Before I became secretary, I used to be publicity secretary. So the role of the publicity secretary is any information that you hear that comes out from national or that comes out from your branch, you ensure that it gets to the last member of the branch or the association. So what we do is we communicate. So like I said, the deadline for the verification just passed. After the verification, they keep notices keep coming up. So when it gets to now contestants are still touring around. They are still moving around the branches. So each branch usually holds its meeting once every month. So what you do is you leave your branch. You go to each branch to campaign, to solicit for support, for votes. So you ensure you attend their meetings. That's so they give you a platform to speak, to address them. You introduce yourself. That's where you also sell your manifesto to them. So that's what is basically expected of you. But the election is also the situation room is here. But don't forget that it's electronically. So in your room, anywhere you are, you can vote. So what they just do is, for some of them that want to come to Abuja, they can come. For example, the presidency, they have to be here. The Gen Secs, they have to be here. They may be the first sec, the first VP, second VP. They may or they might not be here. But in this particular election, 2 of the presidential candidates are practicing in Abuja, so they are here. Okay. Mr. Tidy practices in Niger, so he may also come here. But Mr. YC Michael SAN practices here. Mr. JK Gazama also practices here in the Capital Territory. So definitely they will be on ground. But for every other person, you necessarily just ensure what you need to do is just ensure that you keep reaching out to your people.
Okay, lastly, what do you want people to say after this whole election? As in, what do you want people's reaction to be after the election? Like,
okay, so I know that Mr. Olumide Akpata has said that he will ensure that he conducts one of the best elections so far. Okay. That has been his mandate, and that his own election will not create any issues, will not create any, will be seamless. So likewise to that, once the election is done, I want everybody able to be say, I was able to vote and I voted the candidate of my choice, and this is the person I want, and yes, that my vote actually counts.
Thank you.
My vote actually counts. So we all believe it will happen and the election will be free and fair. Definitely, I can assure that.
We all believe it will happen and the election will be free and fair. That's the word of Mr. Barrister Olatunji Atoyebi, MBA Secretary, Gariki, Abuja branch. Want to thank you for coming on We Time with Ekene Ezebue this morning, and I hope as the events goes on, we'll still call on you and hope you will respond.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. I want to thank you, listeners, for being part of We Time with Ekene. Till I come your way next week. Enjoy your new week coming through, and bye for now.